At the end of the day, guys, we have to ask ourselves, is being a procrastinator hindering my progress? Being the procrastinator, I'm just going to use your example, Jennifer, okay? I'm just going with it. We live in a society that is looking for instant gratification. And going to the gym is a process, just like everything else that we do, especially in NLP. I learned to trust the process. So it's easier to say, oh, I'll go tomorrow. I had one of those days. I'm just going to stay here, have a bottle of wine or a bag of chips, or I love cooking. I'm going to cook in the kitchen and get the day off. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Because you love cooking. So you're feeding your love at the moment when you know you should be doing a little bit more. That is pure procrastination. We all do it at some level, all of us. Five types of procrastination. The first one is the chicken. The chicken appears busy. I know that you've heard, I'm running around like a chicken with no head. Okay? They're so busy, those types, that, oh my God, I got 1,000 things to do. I can't stop. I got this, I got that, I got this. They become bombarded. Their minds are cluttered with everything that needs to do, but there is never nothing finished. Okay? There's no bad or wrong types of procrastinators, guys. So get that out of your minds. You are not a bad person. We all do it. Adrian told us before. The second type is the daredevil. What's a daredevil, guys? Do you know what it is? Guys? No?
Not getting some things done. And just
daredevil?
Risk taker. Risk takers.
Takes on the most exciting project.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? No? Well, the daredevil is all of those things, but the daredevil he's gung-ho. He wants to do it. He's willing to jump off a cliff without knowing if there's a net or a parachute or someone to help downstairs. He's just doing it. Okay? Third type is the self-sabotage. Oh, I know I'm going to fail. I just know that I'm going to screw this up because I do it every time. So I'm going to delay doing it because it's cool. It's more fun to play video games or watch TV or eat ice cream. Fourth type, ostrich. You guys know what an ostrich is? Do you know? Nah? Okay. An ostrich is those big animals, those big birds that we see with a big long neck and a big head, but they put their heads in the sand. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to give you these words. You're going to figure out what type of procrastinator you are. You're going to think you're figuring it out. And as the class goes on, I'm going to ask you if it's the same. So the ostrich is the one out of sight, out of mind. Gonna wait at the last minute. If I don't say, oh shit, I have a book report that's due tomorrow morning. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow and I'm supposed to go to a business meeting at work. Okay? And the fifth type is the perfectionist. It's ready to go. It's perfect. But it's not perfect to the perfectionist. There's still some tweaking that can be done. And I'm not going to hand in that paper at the end because it's not ready. It's not ready. So now that I gave you the descriptions and the types, we're not going to separate you. I'm curious. Out of these 5, what type do you think you are? At the end of the day, guys, we have to ask ourselves, is being a procrastinator hindering my progress? Being the procrastinator, I'm just going to use your example, Jennifer, okay? I'm just going with it. We live in a society that is looking for instant gratification. And going to the gym is a process, just like everything else that we do, especially in NLP. I learned to trust the process. So it's easier to say, oh, I'll go tomorrow. I had one of those days. I'm just going to stay here, have a bottle of wine or a bag of chips, or I love cooking. I'm going to cook in the kitchen and get the day off. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Because you love cooking. So you're feeding your love at the moment when you know you should be doing a little bit more. That is pure procrastination. We all do it at some level, all of us. And I'm going to make you laugh in a way, rhetorically, okay? When I was asked by Estelita, Adrian's assistant, if I wanted to be a speaker, I'm like, right away, I said, yes, and thank you, by the way, Adrian, because it's the 4th time that I'm invited to be a speaker in Adrian's class. So thank you. So I get invited and I'm like, yes, of course, Estelita, I'm going to do that, and thinking in my pea brain mind, I'm a podcaster. I have material like up to wazoo on my computer. No problem, I'll do it as a piece of cake. What type of procrastinator do you think I am? Guys? Daniel? Nobody wants to guess what type of... You guys are afraid of me now.
Daredevil. You're a daredevil. You're
you're
going to do it. Yeah.
I would say chicken.
Maybe chicken too. Yes. Yeah.
What? Chicken? Why? Wow. I love it. Why do you think I'm a chicken?
Because chickens are always busy doing something. They appear busy. Like you've got material enough for all your podcasts. So you always find yourself doing lots of things. And I mean many things, but you never finish any.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It's up to you to come.
I love the way you did it. You're on track. I do have a lot of projects. That is what I do. But I am far from a chicken because I complete my projects. That is something because I know that I don't want to be a chicken. So I make sure that my podcast, when I said, well, I have material, was not me saying I have 165 episodes behind me. I have material. And I teach other classes. So I am extremely busy. And I don't appear to be busy, but there's some perfectionism in there that I was still tweaking before Adrian opened the camera this morning. I was still tweaking my presentation. Why? Because that's what I like to do. But you know what? I'm barely using it. I'm going with you guys. And Jennifer, you're right on point. You don't know me, but you figured out that I do have some daredevil in me. So you see, so it's normal that we all have different types in us. You hit the nail on the head. That we have different types according to the way life is at the time. When I first met Adrian, I was 150% a daredevil. You remember, Adrian, I had mentioned that I had seen a therapist one time in my life, and I was the type of person that just wanted to do. And I jump off a cliff without knowing if anybody, I just wanted to do it. So you guys read me good. You guys read me good, but I too suffer from I have the impairment of perfectionism. Does anybody else want to talk about maybe what type of they are potentially? What in your life are you one that loves to play video games and you don't want to go mow the lawn because you're having a high score on your video game? Or other examples. Adrian, Darko, you want to start us off?
I think that I'm how to say struggling, yes, but I am pushing a lot of to perfectionism. So I'm investing a lot of time, a lot of things before start something, and always I know that something is missing, and it takes off of my time. So I'm prolonging the starting. For example, if I want to start a project, and I know I have estimated the project is good, I'm investing much time before starting the project. So always finding that something is missing.
When you guys go to buy a car or buy a pencil, some people buy cases of water. Do you find yourself just picking up what you need? Or you find yourself saying, should I buy this one or that one? I see Cam is saying that, yeah, you have that that's not part of the procrastinator, but you're undecided, right? You have that undecision. You want to tell us a little bit more? Do you feel comfortable telling us how you feel when you're?
A lot of the times now, if a friend says, "Are you procrastinating?" a lot of the times now I'm in that undecision period. And I maybe haven't got enough information, but if I haven't made a decision or pulled the trigger within a period of time, I write it on my whiteboard. And my whiteboard is in the next room where I do yoga and stretching. So I write it on the whiteboard, buy plane tickets, buy the seminar, or make the decision. I write it on the whiteboard, and then I will go and do my exercise and stuff, and I can see it. So while I'm stretching out, it's up there. But the thing is, sometimes I don't write it up there. And it's those things that I haven't written up there. I think that's the deeper stuff that I may actually be procrastinating on, because even though I've done so much work, there's some stuff I'm afraid to do. There's a couple of things I'm afraid to do. And it wasn't until working with Darko about 4 weeks back, I realized, hang on, there's actually a fear. I'm afraid of going big. So I see some of the chicken in me, and my chicken is being so good. It's not the busy chicken. Someone was saying, it's not the busy chicken running around. My chicken was hiding, mate. My chicken was hiding deep. And then I realized, okay, I'm having a chicken. I'm a bit afraid of this decision. So it's not even on my whiteboard. But yeah, coaching, Darko Estrelita blew it out into the open. Thanks.
You know what that means in Italian, eh? Yeah, eh? That what you just did. I think that with your explanation, you know what? I think that I'm going to go back to the one who called me a chicken. I don't like being a chicken, but you know what? You bring in a very good fact that the fear is installed so deep inside that sometimes we suppress it so much because of the other types that we are, that fear can fuel us. When we think about it, fear can fuel us to take action. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm very proactive, that I'm big on acceptance and taking action. Whatever actions you're going to take, good or bad, but it's going to bring you to your goal. Or closer to your goal. Because I love that Adrian actually said sometimes he doesn't get to where what he wants. He doesn't get to it now. He didn't say he never gets there. He says he's just not getting there now. That is having compassion in him. That is a perfect example of building self-compassion by saying, I didn't do it now, but I will do it. By taking away the guilt in you, and God knows that at some level we all have guilt in us about a lot of things. So once you remove that factor, you can actually go and just do. Go and just do. So procrastination does hinder, stop us, puts the brakes. It doesn't have to stop you. You know, when we drive in the street, there's stop signs everywhere. Do we stop driving altogether because there's a stop sign? No. We just stop temporarily. The car needs a rest. Okay? And we keep going. Does that make sense? You know? And I love also that Jennifer had mentioned that in her being a perfectionist, I know I went and asked a personal question, but again, I'm a field type of person. I need to know how it makes you feel, because that's how I am with myself. So how can I be a good mentor or a good coach to others if I can't be to myself? So when, like, I was my first client, I had to auto-evaluate myself. I got a lot of help to understand. But so thank you, Jennifer, for being vulnerable and letting that go and telling us, because feeling not good enough can also stop us from moving and become another I'm not good enough. Perfectionism, not good enough, can become a self-sabotager. And there's a wheel. I'm a visual, so I want to paint a visual. Imagine the wheel is divided in 5 parts. Okay, or the pie is divided in 5 parts. It's constantly working. How do you call the mechanism in a watch, you know, the wheels turning. How do we call that? Okay, anyways, you guys understand what I mean.
Yeah, Cam's
There-
got it. Let's just call it a watch piece.
It's constantly, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do it because I know I'm going to fail. But if I fail, I won't get to what I want to do. But I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid I'm not good enough. Yeah, I'm going to do it, man. I'm amazing. You know, why can't I keep doing it? And it just keeps going around and around until you, the person, decides to just put a stop on it for now. There are things that we can do to put a stop on our self-doubt, the feeling of insecurity that you're not good enough, that you're indecisive. That indecisiveness is costing you energy. Not everything is about costing money. Not everything in life. Energy is more important. Your personal energy is more important than the money in your pocket. Because when you lose that energy, you're depleted completely. And that's when you're not at your best. But when you're saving your energy for what needs to be. So Cam, can you give us an example of what you tend to procrastinate or you feel uncomfortable on?
I think for myself, like I'm definitely a perfectionist. Yeah, so number 5 is a big one for me. And then also, like you say, I'm indecisive when it comes to even small decisions, like go to the store and just choose a brand. Then I find myself going through the labels to try and validate which one would be the better option. And like you say, it's all energy, and it just makes I'm always busy because all of these take a lot of energy. I wish I could just say, oh, okay, I'll just take that and just not care, but I pay attention to a lot of that. So I don't know how to break that cycle.
Well,
I guess it starts with awareness, maybe.
high five. You deserve a high five, girl. High five. Great self-assessment, awareness. Now that you know, now that I contributed, that today we as an entity, we as a group contributed to you saying, I do that. What is your personal cost of doing that indecisiveness?
What is my personal cost? My energy?
Okay. Anything else?
I mean, it takes a lot of time. Yeah, just time and energy, I guess.
Love it. Time is energy. Say it with me, guys. Time is energy.
Time is energy.
I have a consult table. Okay, sorry about that. Tried to do 2 things at once, didn't work. So I have a consult table in front with my dish where I always put my keys. I've been like that for years, for like 30 years, I've been doing that. When I don't do that, what do you guys think happens? When I put my keys, I leave my keys in my pocket or in my lunch bag. I go around the house frantically. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? And I lose time because now I know there's traffic. I know that I want to get a coffee at McDonald's And if I get that and the traffic, I'm going to be late to my appointment. So it's like time and energy, the frustration. I'm like sweating just telling you guys about this. But one way to help manage our types of procrastination, organization. You don't have to be an interior decorator and a professional organizer and go to the store and buy $500 of boxes, of containers. It could be whatever makes your life easier. So for me, my life is easier when I know that my keys are there, that I don't need to lose time to go and get. Organization, sorry guys. So organization helps a lot. And a cluttered mind is a cluttered space often. And a cluttered space, meaning a mini board, an organized bordello, is a cluttered mind. Because you can't be as efficient. The key word is being efficient when you're wasting time and energy. When you could be out of the grocery store 30 minutes earlier, but because of your indecisiveness, unfortunately, it takes a little bit longer. But again, now you are aware. So it's something that you can actually work on, developing a new habit. I read this book one time. I know I'm going a little off topic, but I like this. This is good. This is when we learn from each other, because as you guys are talking, you're making me think also. So we're feeding back and forth. There's a book I read, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Changed my life. And I know I found it very cliche when everybody said, I read this book and it changed my life. You know what? At the time when I got the book, I needed to hear what was inside the book. And I got many aha moments in it. But the one thing that helps on the awareness side of things, if I can just give you this, Cam, go figure it out, but catch the thinker. When you're in the aisle wondering, it's just a can of tomato paste, why am I here? Oh gosh, Cam, and you will make that decision. You will make it, you know? And another thing that can be done for us perfectionists, I don't think you guys have a Costco where you guys are. Costco is where we buy everything in bulk. Okay? And when you go there, you can easily, if you do not have a list that you are going to hold on to and religiously just focus on the list, you will get distracted with all the beautiful bling and bells and whistle and everything that you can buy in bulk and all the cheeses from the world and everything, okay? And you'll spend $500. Now, when I know I'm going to Costco, what do? I list. So at the end, before I go look at the bling, before I go look at the toys and everything that they have, and they have so much, I love going to Costco, I make sure that everything on my list is in my carriage. And my reward for that is to go spend half an hour looking at the stuff. That's another thing that we work very well with, a reward system. When our child does something good, Adrian has young children. I've listened to many different, they're amazing. I've listened to many of his teaching in things. And you know what? Why can't we talk to ourselves? Why can't we reward ourselves such as we reward our children. When my daughter, I'll give you a concrete example. When my daughter was 6 years old, she pulled my arm and she said, Mommy, I did the bed. And she's pulling, come see, Mommy, come see. I go in her room. I didn't do this face because I didn't want her to see my reaction. But she's 6 years old. She did the best she could. She put up the blankets, put her little teddy bears. It was not done at all, but she was so proud that I went along with it. So the perfectionist, the perfectionist wanted the bed to be done perfectly, right? Not the military corners and all that. But I wanted the bed to be done perfectly. But what did I do instead? Good job, Angie. Good job. Mommy's very proud of you. So now you're going to help me dust? I'll put her back to work. But she was so happy that Mommy said, good job. And it's the same thing with our pets. We're so nice to our pets. Why can't we be nice like that with ourselves? So there's definitely two things that can be done: self-awareness, writing a list, and the reward system. That works. Okay. Now, another thing that I found fascinating. No, fascinating is the wrong word, guys. But did you know that in tax season, the post office is open until midnight? Here in Canada and in the United States, the post office is open until midnight for the late bloomers, for those procrastinators that say, oh, fuck, I still didn't do it's 11:50 and they still haven't done their taxes. And you have to do your taxes by midnight on a specific date. That's why it's open. I laughed when that happened. There was also a research. Like I said, I wing it. I talk to you guys from the heart. I have bullet points, but I can't follow because then I screw up, okay? But in my research, I found that out of 100 people that said, do you want me to give you $50? Well, 100 people said, yeah. Okay. Now they asked the same 100 people, do you want to pay me $50 now or later? 100% said later. Which goes to say about the instant gratification. We want, but we don't. The give and take is not, it's in us, and that is just the way it is. What if procrastination does things to us that puts our fears deep inside? That's usually trauma. At some level, we've all experienced trauma. Have you ever had a paper cut? Yes, a paper cut, okay? For some, it's just a paper cut, okay? And for others, there's a drop of blood. Oh my God, they're gonna have a heart attack because they see blood. So again, it's our own perception of our trauma. But it's also, if you're wounded inside and that fear is slowing you down or stopping you point blank of doing what you want to do, it's your defense mechanism. That's when you have to be more gentle on yourself. Forgive yourself. Again, we forgive Not easily, but we forgive most people because everyone in this room are good people. So we forgive. Why can't we forgive ourselves for having impairments? Yeah.
I can throw in,
Adrian?
Karina. Yeah, what you said there about trauma. I have worked with countless people, countless traumas, and myself personally, I had a pretty good childhood actually, especially compared to the other people. So I went, okay, well, what's my trauma? Or maybe it was a paper cut, no big deal. Working with all these other people, and at one point, I worked with one of the world's best psychotherapists one-to-one, and he asked me about my trauma, and I'm like, oh, just a paper cut, nothing at all, just a paper cut. And he went, no, stop. It's more than a paper cut. And he got into what I thought was just a little deal. And it wasn't much of a big deal, right? I moved around a lot as a kid. So my parents sold their house and we got up and we moved, got up and we moved, got up and we moved. That wasn't much of a big deal, especially compared to people that have been like, raped or growing up with people getting shot and all kinds of things, right? It wasn't a big deal. But for me as a kid, I didn't have other people around me that had bigger traumas. So when I was a kid, that was a trauma. And I don't want to make anything bigger than it is, but I was really downplaying it because I thought it was a paper cut. So a lot of people play down the stuff they went through because, well, it's a paper cut compared to what someone else went through. But when we were going through it, that paper cut really hurt. A paper cut might have been a bully, could have been punch, could have been, so the traumas we go through don't have to be big, but generally everyone kind of has something there. And those that have paper cuts instead of being, abused tragically, a lot of people with paper cuts don't find it or don't do the inner work because it was a paper cut. But the paper cut was still serious. So work on it and heal it and forgive yourself. And the more we do that inner forgiveness stuff, the more easy it is to make decisions, to take action, to do the big things, to make big progress. It's really hard to make progress and do lots of big, cool things if we're kind of suffering and deep down we're afraid of failure or procrastinating because of whatever. Thanks. Okay.
High five. Adrian, you deserve a high five.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm going to use an example. Again, I'm going to ask you guys to write this down, okay? Because I just love this. There's 3 types of people, okay? The excited people that procrastinate, but they're excited. I can't wait to get married. I love her so much. I'm using the getting married as an example, okay? Could be bungee jumping, it could be anything. Excitement. I just want to spend the rest of my days. I just can't wait. Then there's the anticipation. The procrastinator that is anticipating, not on a negative, but on the fence. And when we sit on the fence, what does it do? It hurts our butts. When we are undecided, it hurts our butts. So the person that procrastinates with anticipation is, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm happy, I'm excited, but damn, I gotta do that. If I want my counter to produce X amount of money in cosmetic sales, I'm gonna have to do this and that. I'm excited, but again, I'm nervous. Can I do it? Am I good enough? Can I produce $10,000 to sell in 2 days? That's being undecided also. And then there's the procrastinator that dreads. Can't believe I have to file my taxes again. See, It's like it's never ending. There's always something. There's always something. I don't want to do it anymore. The dread part. When we dread doing something, it hurts our stomach pit. So we got to make ourselves feel better about it. So what are we going to do? Instant gratification. And we're going back in that wheel that we talked about before. When we are excited, we're kind of a daredevil. We're just going to jump. We're going to do it. I'm excited. I'm gung ho. You got to think. You got to plan. And the anticipation could be good or bad. You figure it out. You figure it out. Okay. When we feel like we're procrastinating, it damages a little part of us inside because we don't want to be procrastinators. We don't want to delay stuff. We want to do it. So in all of us, it creates a little feeling of, I shouldn't do it. But in reality, you should do it. Because we never know what's going to come out of it. And creating new habits, Cam, doesn't come easy. It's repetition and consistency. Repetition means doing it over and over. And consistency means not doing it every other day, but doing it religiously every day. As much as we want to cover it up, these are just titles. These are just names that I gave you so you can better understand your type of person. To what level do you want to be productive? Do you, like, I can't be at my desk and do my different projects if everything is in mayhem. I need piles. I need to know where I'm going, and I need a list. I can't be distracted by anything else. So for me, a list works wonderfully. I have one at home. I have one at home. That keeps me on my toes. So that could be definitely something that you can. Because if I didn't do that when I would go to work, I felt like I didn't accomplish anything. Yet I did. I would feel like I could do so much better. But I am already better. Who we are now is good enough. So I think out of this, what should we get out of it? Out of today's session, what are 3 main things that came out of it for you personally